we start every meeting with a short word of prayer to allow us as individuals and as a group to realize and recognize that we are a group founded as a group I'm having a little problem with my
You're good.
voice, but I'm going to go here. I'm ready to go with the prayer.
All right.
Let us pray for an end to the waste and destruction, desecration of God's creation, for access to the fruits of creation to be shared equally among all people, and for communities and nations to find sustenance in the fruits of the earth and the water God has given us. Almighty God, we created the world. You created the world and gave it into our care so that in obedience to you, we might serve all people. Inspire us to use the article, riches of creation, with wisdom, and to ensure that their blessings are shared by all, that trusting in your bounty, all people may be empowered to seek freedom from poverty, famine, and oppression. Amen.
Thank you,
John,
Ben. Yes.
I have information on the fellow who wants to rejoin the group.
Okay.
Do I just mail it to you?
Just email it to me if you don't mind. Instead of sending me your jokes, send me this guy's name and email address, please.
Oh, wait a minute. I want to be on the joke list.
No, you don't want to be on Bill's joke list. You do not want to be on Bill's joke list. I'm amazed he gets away with that.
I got a house.
You're not old enough. You're not old enough for these jokes.
I got a housekeeping thing.
Right.
I have someone on RCT 6513W87. Tell me who you are through chat, or I have to kick you out. Or you unmuted your microphone. Tell me who you are so that I can let you in, or I'll have to ask you to go away. All right, Jeff, go ahead. John Chan, go ahead.
Okay. We'd like to start out our meeting to introduce those folks who have joined us for the first time. And Natalie, since you joined first, you get to go first. So if you'll give us a little overview of who you are and sort of what you're looking for so that we'll know. And then later on, when we get through with the introductions, we'll give you some info about the group.
Okay. My name is Natalie Barnes. I found out about your group. I go to the Wednesday night Bible study at Lawndale.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those folks have used you before.
Good.
And right now, I'm not sure where my job's going to be. It's supposed to come back in September, but I haven't heard anything. So I wanted to get me a resume so that I would, if I have to go looking for a job, I will have something, because I don't have a computer and you can't go to the library right now and do anything. So I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens. But I wanted to have something so I would at least be somewhat prepared for whatever, however things.
What type of work have you been doing?
It's clerical, and I've helped students consolidate their loans. I've also done collections, which I really don't want to do anymore, but somebody has to do it. That's basically it for the last 20 years, I guess.
Okay. Well, like I say, just stay tuned and we'll give you some information after we get through with our introductions. All right.
Natalie, just one more question. Even though you don't have a computer, you can get email, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And
Okay.
something else to share with you, Elizabeth, where is Hobbs? What you said, a library is open for business off of Hobbs. What road is that?
That's the name of the street. I don't know the name of the library. I'll have to look up the name. It's the library's right off Hobbs, but I was there the other day.
Hobbs in Greensboro?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one. Oh, I know which one. That's out
What is
toward
that?
Kathleen Clay Edwards.
there you go. Yeah, there you
Yes,
go. Kathleen
yeah.
Clay Edwards.
I was there the other day and they
Okay.
were working.
Good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard a gentleman say he did some research at a library just recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did.
So-
I got a library card. I got a library card last week.
Yeah, it's right off of New Garden, and I
Yes.
forget exactly the name of the street it's on, but over near that where the fresh market is over there off
Yes.
of New Garden. Anyways, it's where the Jefferson Pilot Club used to be. If you're old enough or lived in
behind
Greensboro
it.
long enough.
Behind Jefferson Elementary.
Yes, behind Jefferson Elementary. That's correct.
Hey, John, let me query this again. I'm going to ask whoever RCT is, unmute yourself and
There you go.
tell who
He's
you are.
unmuted.
Eddie, is that you?
Who is speaking?
Hello?
Yes,
is
we can
it?
hear you. Who is this?
Can you hear me? It's Colleen Brown. It's the first time I'm using this at home. And
Okay.
I think I'm a user.
Okay, Colleen. Colleen Brown. So are you new to this group?
No, I've been here about, I think this is my 5th or 6th time.
Okay. All right.
He's on put your name in there, I think.
Yep. So I know who we are. All right.
There
Good
you go.
stuff.
All right. Good. All right. Is it Jeff or Jeffrey? It's Jeff Duno. Is that Jeff? If you'll
Reintroduce yourself.
yeah, please.
Yes, yeah, no problem. Hi, my name is Jeff Dunno. I was coming to the group at the beginning of the year prior to the pandemic shutdown and everything. I have been in IT, project management, most recently Pepsi. I worked for PepsiCo for 12 years and helped lead and deliver their mobile device program in their IT department, and was outsourced through an IT initiative, outsourcing initiative through PepsiCo. The last few months I had been working on a consulting contract that had conflicted with this group. I was trying to do both at the same time, but the consulting contract conflicted with the times of this group, and unfortunately that has ended now. So I am back. Full time looking for.
So you're getting our emails?
Yes, I am.
Good. Okay. Good. Well, welcome back. If that's a fair way to phrase it, we're like
Yeah.
Bill used to say, it's nice to meet you, but sorry in this case to hear you. So anyway, welcome back. Okay. Anybody else here for the first time?
That's me. I'm here for the first time.
Oh, Robbie. Okay.
Yeah.
Robbie.
Henning. Yep.
Henning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Robbie, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Yeah. My name's Robbie Henning, and I've been looking for work for about a month. I was laid off. Actually, nothing to do with COVID. Just had to do a change of direction of the company. I'm a manufacturing engineer, design drafter. I've been in the industry for about 23 years. Anyways, just looking for some new opportunities. I was with a manufacturing facility in Randleman for about 15 years, and I left them on purpose, looking for other opportunities about a year and a half ago. And so in this process, it's led me to being unemployed. But anyways, it's been interesting.
How did you find out about our group?
Actually, through Steve. And Steve, I forget how to pronounce your last name. And it was through Glenn Wise and his group.
We call him Steve A.
Steve A. Okay.
That's the easiest way to do it. Okay, well, yeah, good. Have you joined Glenn's group at all online?
Yeah. So I've been meeting with them for
I think they're on Tuesdays,
yeah,
I believe.
exactly Tuesdays
Yeah.
for about not quite a month.
Yeah, Glenn usually tries to join this group toward the end of the session, just sort of get caught up. So
Okay.
he may or may not today, don't know. Okay, a little overview for those new folks, so you'll know. The two main facilitators of our group, which is a outreach ministry of First Presbyterian Church here in Greensboro, is Bill Letton. Bill led our prayer this morning. Bill, as I told you, is a retired senior vice president with Bluebell, and then Jeff Claypool is the other main facilitator. He's retired senior vice president of HR for Sealy. And Jeff and Bill have been around since the get-go of the organization back in 2009, and including Steve Sheffy, who you see up there. Steve and I worked together for a company called International Textile Group, and he and I both downsized at the same time. Steve was younger than I, so he actually looked for another job. I was closer to retirement, so I did a few contracts and then officially retired. But I'm John Markham. Chan White, Teddy Burris, and Steve are all volunteer assistants for this organization. And of course, Teddy is our main facilitator here for our Zoom get-together. For the new folks, we have several ways to communicate. One is through a Google Groups email distribution list. It's best if you're not on that distribution to send an email to triadcareernetwork@gmail.com and let us know that you'd like to be a part of our Google Groups distribution. And then either Chan or I will add you to that group, and you'll get information. You'll get it once you join this group. You will get notification of this meeting every week, a day before and then an hour before. And then we receive job information from various folks, and we distribute that out through to this Google Groups email distribution list. So it is a one-way communications. You cannot respond to, you can respond to the group, but it'll only go to Chan or I or Teddy. So be aware that if you think you're sending that to the whole group, you are not. So, and that's by design. Secondly, for those who would like to post their resume on our website is triadcareernetwork.org. On that website, we do have a tab for resumes that are searchable now. About 6 or 8, 10 months ago, we modified it so it is now searchable. Best thing to do is to forward your resume to triadcareernetwork@gmail.com, and Chan or I will get it to Jeff Claypool, and Jeff will review it and make his suggestions, and we'll get it back to you. And then you have the choice if you want to post it on the website. Chan, once you get modified to your liking, he will post it on the website. So any information you need is best to send it to triadcareernetwork@gmail.com the first time. Eventually, you'll see either Chan or I or Teddy's email address, and you can certainly send them directly to us once you get that email address. And lastly, we have a closed LinkedIn group. If you are on LinkedIn and would like to join our group, make an application to join, and either Teddy or I will admit you to the group. It is a closed group for our group only. So anyway, anything I missed, Chan or Teddy?
I think you got it.
Okay. You want to go over the list for Jeff? Are you ready to write down names?
I'm ready.
Okay, Chan, I'll let you.
Okay. Albert Paley.
Albert, what are you doing back? Unmute yourself.
Hey, friends. Yep,
Hey.
This is Albert Paley. Yeah, I
hope you're just
joined the
visiting.
group. Excuse me?
I hope you're just visiting.
No, I got laid off last week
Bummer.
with a COVID layoff. I'm just kind of refreshing with the group. I worked with a group for a while in a place called Meadows of Dan up in Virginia. Kind of got an exciting assignment there. Unfortunately, they got hit pretty hard and had a pretty big layoff last week. So I was one of those caught up in that. Previous to that, I had some good work working in a consulting business I started up. I started that up around June of last year, and that worked really well. I was doing a lot of international work, and that kind of got kind of pinched with the traveling and the COVID deal in the early part of this year. So anyway, I found the opportunity at Cape Well, and now I'm just trying to resort myself a little bit. Still kind of fresh out of the.
Now you were originally, when we met you, was it Sarah Lee? Who were you with?
I worked for 30 years with VF Corporation.
VF, okay.
All over.
I knew it was a textile
Central and
organization.
North America.
I couldn't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So I worked with Capewell. My work at Capewell was I was their director of product development and process improvement, and my consulting work was really centered around manufacturing processes, process improvements, and engineering. And so my career with VF was around engineering management. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to see you guys are meeting during these.
Well, we're sorry that things are the way they are, but they, like everybody says, it is what it is. So anyway, welcome back. All right, I'm sorry I didn't mean to take so long on that. Albert, who else? Chan?
Robbie Henning.
And he's new, Jeff.
Robbie Henning.
Henning.
That's correct.
I got it.
Betsy Lerner.
Whoa.
Problem.
Okay.
Hughes Antoine.
Okay.
Jeff Dunno, Dunno.
Got it.
Jessica Mitchell.
Okay.
Jimmy Barnhart, Hardt. Barnhart. Michael Joyce.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie Henning. I think you had that. He moved on the list.
I did. I got it.
Name before. Steve Anko.
Steve A.
Steve A.
And by the way, Steve will not engage because he's in his office doing work, but
he's just listening. Okay, Suzanne Ross. I think that's the end of the list.
Did you get Colleen Brown?
Colleen Brown.
Ooh, I missed her. I'm sorry. I apologize. You got that one, Jeff?
I got it.
Okay, on the screen now are the questions you can ask at the job interview.
All right.
Okay,
Jeff?
I'm going to throw you a curve, man.
All right, throw me a curve. What the heck?
We're gonna try the questions towards the end of the session, but we've spent some time in the past few weeks, and we've done work career surveys, and Teddy did some session on LinkedIn. We did a midterm exam for those people that are looking for positions. We did some things on references, done some things on networking, and then we've spent some time the last few weeks on what I would consider one of the most important things you're going to do in your job search, and that's interviewing. And so we've done that. And I started thinking about, we've done some things on the questions, the 52 or 53 questions that John likes to talk about that have answers on it. That gives you different ways to think about those questions, and you can get that from John if you have an interest. In addition to those
stop right there, Jeff. Let me explain what that is. For the new folks, it's an Excel file that has 53 questions that you are most likely to be asked. These are general questions. And then it's an Excel file that has the questions in one column, has Jeff's thoughts how to answer it in a second column, and then has a blank column for you to answer it, to type in your response. People that have received this in the past have found this very helpful. It gives you a lot of preparation for any interview that you might have. You won't necessarily get these exact questions, but in general, it's pretty comprehensive. If you want a copy of the Excel file, send a request to triadcareernetwork@gmail.com and say, I'd like the Excel file with the 53 questions, and we will be glad to share it. So, yeah, okay, Jeff, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, good. And it's good that people understand that it's there if they need it. The other thing that we tried to do is pick some questions that were not on that list, and we've kind of concentrated on those the last few weeks. And this week I got to thinking about mock interviews that we've had, and I went back and looked at some of the companies that have actually come to Triad Career Network and actually done a mock interview with one of our participants in front of the entire group. Then after the interview was over, the group got to ask the company representative questions about the interview, why they asked a question, what they thought about a particular answer. And it proved to be very helpful. I mean, the company knew it was a mock interview. However, we did have some people hired as a result of those interviews later. They got an interview with a company for a position that was available, and we have some examples of people that got jobs. But when I went down through the list, that's what I want you to think about this morning. I want you to think about companies that you have an interest. If I was to ask you, who's your top 5 companies that you would like to go to work for, I know each of you would have a list that you could provide for those 5 names, and I want you to think about that this morning. But when I get down through the list, I just want to mention the company names, and I want you to think, do I know anybody that works for these companies that might be able to provide some information for me as far as the company is concerned, what it's like to work there, and any maybe particular jobs that are posted that maybe you could find out about. And I want you to think about the companies. These are the companies we had come in and do the mock interviews. Number 1 was Volvo, Sealy. Then we had Lincoln Financial. We had Wells Fargo come in. We had Fidelity Management come. We had Morgan Stanley visit. We had an interview conducted by Humana. Another by Slane Hosiery Mills. Another by Syngenta. PNC Bank, Tech Systems, BB&T, Molina Healthcare, Pulaski Furniture, Enos Flint. The next 3 are recruiting firms, TRC, Express Personnel, Adkins and Associates. We also had Guilford Public Schools come in, the City of Greensboro, VF Corporation, Cone Health, Walmart, Lowe's, and Corvo, just to mention some of the ones that we've had come in. So I want you to think about those particular companies, and I want you to think about that list that I asked you to possibly put together with the top 5 that you have a very genuine interest in going to work for. And we're going to talk maybe a little bit about that later. But I just wanted to give you some time to think about those organizations that we've had come in and do mock interviews.
And I would suggest, if you have any interest in any of those companies, that you let either Chan or I know, and then we'll get, some of them I can remember, but I don't remember all the contact people that we had that came. And whenever you do contact those folks, be sure to mention Triad Career Network, because all the companies that Jeff mentioned have physically been to our meetings and have shown an interest in our group. So it would be, that could give you an inside track in some areas. Don't necessarily know. Of course, most of them, some of them have been done 3 or 4 years ago, and some of the people may not be there now. But in any case, couldn't hurt. So just let us know, and we'll be glad to try to hook you up with whoever came in.
John, that reminds me, for the new folks, we do have a spreadsheet that we don't publish, which has practically all the folks who've gone through our program and got jobs. The folks who got jobs and didn't bring donuts, we don't know about. But everybody who came and brought donuts, we have a record of where they went to work. So if you have a company you're interested in, you want to find out if there is a Triad Career Network member who's been working there, send it to ask the question to triadcareernetwork@gmail.com.
Yep.
Is that list that you're referring to as far as the companies that were just read out? Is that what you're talking? Is that the
Yes.
list?
Not the one that Jeff just talked about. This is a much larger spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's basically a summary of alumni of our group.
Yep.
That
Okay.
Where they were, when they got a job, where they went to work. They may not be there now because this group has been going on for 10 years or so.
Yeah, but it's good. If they are there, they're a good source. They remember sitting in the seats that you guys used to sit in, or in the position you're in now. They certainly don't necessarily have a job, but they certainly can give you some guidance as the process to get information about that specific company.
Okay.
John.
Yes.
Yeah, along those lines, I just want to, in Glenn's meeting this week, I offered up that I have, because I'm fortunately employed, and as you know, I'm kind of sitting in here to try to sharpen up my skills and hear things in case I need it here, given the situation. But I have access to a credit database that I use for evaluating our customers. And it's really good information on any company in the United States, period. And it's from the smallest of companies to the largest of companies. So if anybody needs any data that may provide, I'm more than willing to give them that information.
Okay. We have Steve's email address. So if you have an interest, I would suggest you send it to us, and then we'll forward it to Steve. That would probably be the best way, rather than try to inundate him with individual emails. Probably we'll channel it through to Steve. Thank you, Steve. That's good to know. That's an example of giving back. So we appreciate that.
Okay, Jeff, you're back.
Okay, an example of what you're talking about. If we went, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, we have over 700 people that have brought donuts, I think.
That's correct.
Over the course of time. And if I went back and I looked at a company and I picked out Lincoln Financial, there's an individual there named Deidre Galitska, Ginger Moore, Brian Scott, Bill Cooper, Ed Kinnear, Jane White. Those are just some examples of people that have come through Triad Career Network that wound up getting a job at Lincoln Financial. And most of those people that I just mentioned have helped us in the past get other people introduced to that organization. So again, it goes back to the networking. It goes back to you doing your homework. And I'm just trying to give you some examples of some information that I think are available at Triad Career Network, but you have to take the initiative to go through and dig that information up. So Lincoln Financial, those people that I just mentioned, is an example of that. So if you've got a company that you're interested in, it might be a good idea to look and see if we have people that are there right now that were in the group and are now working for the company. So as I was going through and looking at those, and we've gone through and asked these questions, I decided today that maybe one of the things that we ought to do is, when these companies came and interviewed, they provided the questions that they were going to ask ahead of time. So we kept a record of those questions that the companies ask in the mock interview. So this would be the Volvos and the Lincoln Financials and the Wells Fargo and Fidelity and all the other companies I mentioned. These are questions they ask. So these were actual interview questions, and they talked to the group, said these are many of these questions they use over and over again. So I thought today would be a good idea if I went through that list and used some of those questions and gave you an opportunity to answer the question.
Okay, Jeff. Right now I'm sharing the questions you can ask at the job interview. I'm going to stop sharing that and get back to the panel gallery presentation so that when you pick on somebody, we can ask them to turn on their camera and you can.
Don't be a negative, Nelly. It's not pick on somebody. It's
Well, I'm sorry.
give them an opportunity.
Yes, yes.
I swear, Jeff picking on people. What a concept.
He really likes new people.
Okay, so what we're going to do is Jan's going to pick a number, since I've given each of you a number, and then I'm going to ask. This would be an interview, and you can assume that we've gone through and we've been in this interview for some time. But this is the question that I'm going to ask you that was pulled from the companies that I previously mentioned that came and did a mock interview. So be ready. And pick a number. One to 12.
12.
Can't
Okay,
pick 10.
1 to 12.
No, can't pick 11.
How about 5?
Oh, good. We'll go to 5. Welcome back, Albert Paley.
Albert's a pro, so it's not going to be a problem for him.
All right, Albert, you there?
Unmute yourself, Albert.
Yes, I'm here. Hey.
Can we see your face?
A little bit challenged this morning. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Let's see.
Lower left.
Start video.
Yeah.
All right. Very good, sir. For the people that are being asked questions, we like to be able to see them as if it was a mock interview.
Hey, Albert, you ready?
Hey, good morning, Jeff.
Good morning. And you're interviewing with one of our managers at this particular company, which is Sealy. And he's known for being a very tough interviewer. And his name is Teddy Burke.
All right,
Teddy's with us this morning. So what I need you to do, Albert, is I need you to pick a letter, A, B, C, or D.
D.
B is in boy.
D is in dog.
Dog.
D is in dog. Okay, give me a number, 1 to 10.
10.
Give me an example of a time when there was a decision to be made and procedures were not in place to go forward with that project.
Well, okay. Had some turnover in a company that I worked with, and some of the new leadership came in and had some questions about their costing. And when we started looking at the challenge of costing, the question was, we feel our costing is not accurately setting our gross margins. So, the action was to evaluate the costing and try to confirm whether or not the costing was providing the accurate gross margins that the group was looking for. So as we went into the analysis, kind of the fact collection aspect of it, what we found out was that there was some real vague and how can I say it, they were variable choices that our costing team was looking at to try to determine material costs and other aspects. So when you would ask the question, the procedures of the details of the process, you would get, well, it depends, things such as that. So there was a lot of inconsistencies, and there were multiple people doing these costings. So they had, each one had their own process of kind of nailing down those aspects of the cost components. So what we did was we went in and analyzed the 3 costing managers and identified the differences. We got together as a group and we worked through why each of the individuals utilized the various methods that they did. And as a group, we kind of decided which one presented the more accurate fact-based costing. We did find some issues where there were some decisions that needed to be made, and there were some variable choices. So from that, we established a procedure to come up with consistency across the team, and we gained satisfaction that our costs were representative of, consistently representative of our real make costs. Not that we liked all the costs that came out, but we felt good that we had the facts.
Okay. I appreciate you giving me that answer. We're going to go to the hiring manager, Teddy.
Albert, it's a pleasure to see you again today. I'm sorry I'm seeing you here, but good to see you. And so I'm going to give you a 2. And out of what is it, 1 out of 5, or what do you want? Oh, you want 1 out of 10. So I'm going to give you a 3, Albert. And here's why. That's a great story. And I get it. I mean, you saw a problem, you knew you needed to create a solution, and you talked about creating that solution. What you didn't do is turn that conversation in a short period of time into what you hope to do in your role with this new company at the Pillow Company. And so you needed to do that. You needed to take that story and collapse it down tight. Here's the problem. Here's what I did. Here's the value it got. And then immediately, and I call it spin, and then immediately talk about how you'll use your skills, your experiences, and some of these accomplishments that you have in this previous company, you'll bring those same ideas and tactics to the company, which is critical. Period.
Yep. I can see that, Teddy. I appreciate the feedback.
Okay. Jan? Number.
We're on another number. Oh, you caught me off guard there. Okay, let's go with number 2.
Got a newbie.
We're doing well.
Natalie Barnes. Natalie Barnes.
Okay, Natalie, unmute yourself, please. There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
Natalie, welcome to Sealy today.
Thank you.
And I'm going to have you talk with our hiring manager, Steve.
Okay.
And so we're going to go through and conduct that interview with him. We've already gone through and asked a number of questions. So what I want you to do is pick a letter A, B, C, or D.
Oh, A.
You're going to go to A, and I need a number 1 to 10.
1 to 10. 5.
Okay. Natalie, what I'd like you to do is describe your leadership style and how have you brought leadership in your past jobs, even if you were not in a formal leadership position.
Okay, my leadership style. I've never really been like the main person, but I have been left in charge, but it was a small office. And so I tried for that short period of time to, if something, if there was a problem, I would try to help solve it. But I was never someone who was over people, that kind of thing, maybe one or two, but it was not, I didn't have that go for it and be assertive to be a leadership person.
Okay.
I don't think that was quite the
Steve?
answer.
Steve?
Okay. Natalie,
Well,
you started out all right. I mean, you established up front that you had never been in a role where you were designated as a group or team leader. But I don't think you answered the question about, you didn't bring into this how you worked within your group to build consensus. The statement about you were not, you weren't somebody that was a go for it kind of person, or
yes, sir.
you didn't step up to try to be a leader. Not a good answer. I would have
Right.
I would have been very concise about, I've never been asked, or I've never had a role where I was the primary leader in a group, but then talk about some things that you have done, but don't sell yourself short and tell people that I'm not a go for it kind of person. You've just talked yourself out of the job.
And I would also make a comment, even if you're not in a supervisory or managerial type role, a leadership type role, you can always demonstrate leadership with others that you work with by either in some positive manner, either encouragement or resources or something like that. You always have an opportunity to be a leader, even if it's not in a designated job description type of leadership. So just and recognize you're new to this group. These questions are not meant to embarrass you. They're not meant to put you on the spot. They're meant to help you, give you some thought as when in fact you do go to a real interview, that you will at least have some semblance of preparation and be able to respond in a more positive manner. So anyway, all right, I'm sorry, Steve, go ahead.
No, and good comment, John. Yeah, in any group, you can exercise leadership regardless of whether you are the designated group manager, group leader, or not. And you brought up the negatives. You didn't give me anything really positive in your answer.
Right.
Okay, and what I want you to think about is over 40 years, I can't tell you how many times, and again, as they said, we're not trying to do this to put you on the spot. We're trying to give you some idea. These are questions that were asked by some of the companies that I previously mentioned. And if you get that type of a question, don't dwell on the negative, try to go to the positive. And again, this is a way to kind of practice on different questions that are asked by companies. So I appreciate, Natalie, you going to that answer. And again, we just want to think about what are the best ways to go through and answer these questions if you're asked during an interview. And
many people, especially now, for example, Steve and I worked for the same company for over 35 years. Okay, it was a textile operation. And so therefore, when it came time for us to look for a new job, we hadn't interviewed in a long time, obviously. So, the skills that you have need to develop now are skills that you haven't even thought about in a long time. I mean, really, most people back when you were first starting to look for jobs stayed with companies for a long period of time, and therefore it was very unusual to have to go interview for a new job. Some people did move from company to company, that's fine, but generally speaking, most of the folks that we're speaking to here have not been in a position to interview in a long time, and it's a different world, first of all, and there's a lot more competition, and you have to work at it. It's a job. It's a job looking for a job. So just be aware that you know, anything you can help yourself to develop these kind of skills is going to be a positive.
Okay.
Hey, thanks, Natalie. Okay, Chan, another number.
10.
Oh, I love it. Okay, Michael Joyce.
All right, Michael, unmute yourself, and if you want to let us look at you, turn your camera on, please. Thinking you went to get a biscuit, Teddy?
Oh, Michael, really? All right, go to the next one.
Well, let's see. I'll pick another number. How about 9?
Okay, that would be Jimmy.
All right.
Barnum?
Barnhart.
Barnhart.
Is Jimmy still on?
Whoops.
I don't see his name on here.
Teddy, he left the group, right?
Yep.
Sorry about that. Let's see. What else can we do?
Hey, Chan.
Let's go back down to number 4.
Well, we're going to get Robbie Henning, hopefully.
All right. Yeah, Robbie's here and available and anxious.
We got a note from Michael Joyce that he was on a phone call. That's why he couldn't answer.
Okay. All right, Robbie, we can see you
Robbie.
and hear you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Robbie, I need a letter. A, B, C, or D?
D.
D as in dog?
That's correct.
Okay, give me a number, 1 to 10.
7.
Tell me about a time in which you had to deal with an upset customer.
So yeah, there's one that's very clear in my mind. Years ago, we had a customer that we were making some castings for, and they were more of a northern company, so the culture came with it. You know, picture New Jersey, New Yorkers, they're more brash. And so they were very, you know, cut to the chase in their conversations and everything else. And one time, and again, they were also demanding products in an unreasonable time. So dealing with those, you know, those things is rather difficult. And the president of our company is also northern and more brash and will say things more direct. And sometimes that creates a little bit of offense, I guess you could say. And so at that time of my career, I was a little more timid. And so at some point, I don't know if I just had to get a hold of myself, but just learning how to deal with people in a more direct but respectful way. And it actually came out very well. I mean, just with timelines and just trying to be honest with them. And there was actually one email that came about because they wanted to know, they were continually pressing on when are we going to have our product? When are we going to have our product? And we even overnighted samples to them, but they still needed actual production. In one email, and then again, it was a mistake by our president. It was just a typo. But they had all these questions to be asked. They wanted answers for. And his first response was, "I'm ignoring your questions." He meant to say, "I'm not ignoring your questions." So that just created a hornet's nest. But, you know, through conversation,
we call that a cluster.
But all, you know, everything being said, it all turned out well. Just talking with the project manager on their end, and they understood. But at first, they just created. There was already enough tension. You know, there was a lot of tension there already. But then that just was a tipping point. But it all smoothed out, and I was involved in the process, and was able to talk to the project manager, which I had already been developing a relationship with. all remote, never met him personally. But we gave him product, not on exactly when they wanted, but just I found in that process of just being honest, respectfully honest with them, hey, this is where we're at. And I'm being willing to speak with them every day if that's what they wanted, you know. So I was trying to be upfront with them, and they're going to have to trust us because we were already kind of in bed together as far as with this project, and you can't back out. So, but anyways, that's an experience.
Okay, Robbie, I appreciate it. And Teddy's the hiring manager, and so we're going to have Teddy give you a few comments on your answer.
Yeah, Robbie, another good story. And I missed some of the ending of your message, of your response. I didn't hear you spin that into how you will take what you learned from that experience and use in your new role in working for this, and I call it a pillow company just to pick on Jeff, to work at this pillow company. You know, you've got to take that experience, what you learned from it, and talk about how you are better from it and how you'll create value in this role that you're interviewing for. So I'm going to put you back into the 4 space because you've got to practice that.
Okay.
Period. Period means I hand back to Jeff.
Yeah, and recognize there's the common theme when Teddy talks about is whenever you respond, be sure that you say how you're going to improve it or what you've learned from that response so that you could put a more positive spin on whatever you're telling somebody.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Sure.
So I guess what I was trying to communicate is just learning how to respectfully talk with the customer during this whole process. So I think what I learned in it is to some of my experience, I've seen people where they just almost want to ignore the customer until they can give them products. And kind of what I felt like worked is communicating with the customer, like I say, even if it's on a daily basis, and just developing that confidence to even be able to say like, well, we're not going to have it today, you know, and just trying to be honest with them. Yeah. So it was more of a confidence builder for me, just going through that type of thing. So if I were to say, I would say I would have more confidence at this point if I was going into a new company and dealing with a crisis.
Yeah. So, but take that answer, that you know, your follow up, and include that in your answer during the interview.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Robbie, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I'm going to go back and get Michael Joyce.
Michael, you back?
He was on.
Yeah, he's on.
Yeah, I'm back. I was about to send Chan a message. I am back.
Okay.
And ready to go. Sorry about that phone call, guys.
It's all right, not a problem.
Hey, what we need from you, Michael, we need a letter and a number, 1 to 10.
Letter A, number 1.
Oh, he's going to go with number 1.
Yeah, right on top of that list.
He's on top of it, and your hiring manager in this case is Steve.
Steve, okay. What's the job title?
What do you want the job title?
Okay.
You're a pillow fluffer.
I'm a data analyst. Okay, data analyst.
All right, data analyst. There you go. Tell me about the last job change that you made. Why did you make it? And did it meet your objectives? And would you make the same change now in hindsight?
Okay, talk about job change. You mean changing physical jobs?
Yeah, tell me about the last job change you made between companies.
Between companies. Well, basically, the last job change wasn't my choice. The company I was with was bought out by the competition, and the competition restructured the company, and the whole finance department was let go. And our jobs were moved to the corporate office in Columbus, Ohio. That job change was unexpected. There was nothing I could have done about it. It kind of blindsided me. But looking back, in hindsight, I guess I should have been, looking towards the future and maybe done a little more networking. That's just a good question because I was being told I had job security. So I really wasn't looking for a new position outside of the company. So to tell you the truth, your question is very difficult to answer because my job change wasn't because of something I wanted. It was something that was given to me.
Okay. Steve?
Okay, unmute yourself, Steve.
Sorry. Mike, you didn't answer the question. We asked about the last time you made a job change, which you told us while you're looking for a job now. So I would have expected you to go back a little bit and talk about a job change that you made so that you can answer, the other
job
part
that
of the question.
I guess I
sorry?
understand the question. You're talking about a job change. Explain what you're talking about.
One that you did voluntarily.
Okay, my last 4
move-
job changes were not voluntarily.
And I think he explained that.
Yeah.
In other words, it wasn't
I was at
voluntary.
companies, I was being told I had job security, and then it changed. So I wasn't looking for another job at the time.
You have worked for the same company your whole career.
No. First company was like 12 years, had job security, and then wham, I got let go. Then I was at another company for about 6 years, had job security. They got bought out. Once again, I lost my job. 3 times, the last 3 times, companies I've been with were bought out and they did downsizing. My last contract job, money ran out for the contract and I was let go. So I didn't really look for a job change. It just came to me.
Okay, so you've never made a voluntary job change where you?
No.
Okay.
I've never done that.
And I would have brought that into the conversation that in the course of my career.
Okay, all my career.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That the job changes you made have been not of your choosing, brought about by the circumstances that you mentioned.
Okay.
But Steve, once he lost that first job, the question is, what did he do to move from that first job to the second job? Wouldn't that answer your question better, Jeff?
You could go that way. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think what he could have done is, to Steve's point, as far as job changes are concerned, I've been with 4 different companies, and each time there's been a situation that there's been a reduction in force.
True.
And again, I would just keep it brief with regards to if that's the way it was.
Yeah.
I'd keep it brief and then move on from there. Sometimes people go on with a question, they go on and on and on when there's really not a reason to. So
good point.
That explanation would have pretty much closed out the question, because then there's not really a follow up as to did these meet your objectives, and you put it out there what's happened, what the history's been. If the interviewer wants to know any more detail from that, they'll go back.
Okay.
Right.
Good point. Thanks.
Okay. Jan, number.
Let's see, I'm having a hard time remembering what I haven't called. Did I call number 4 yet?
You did.
I did? I didn't write it
You did.
down. Let's see. You said I couldn't call number 12? Jeff?
Number 10, number 11.
Number 11, I couldn't call, but I could call 12.
Yeah, that was Steve. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve A.
Yeah, Steve A was 11.
Steve A is not available to be interviewed, I believe.
Well, maybe he is. Are you shaking your head no or yes? Oh, man.
He's still working. Theoretically, he's on the job, even though he may be paying more attention to us than his job. Let's see. I got to come up with a number I haven't picked yet. Did I pick? I picked number 3 yet?
No.
Let's go with number 3.
Number 3. Number 3. Be Colleen Brown.
All right, Colleen.
Oh, good.
Unmute yourself, please. Here you go. Thank you.
Okay, Colleen, I need a letter, A, B, C, or D.
C, as for Colleen.
Okay, that's a good one. Now give me a number 1 to 10.
3.
Okay, we appreciate you coming in today, and I'd like you to take some time and tell me when you were given a complex assignment, and how did you approach it?
Well, I've been given many complex assignments. The one that I can recall would be that we've done as an activities director. I had never done the job before. I had always been in administrative work, and so this was my first time doing it currently. This was my first time having an actual direct report. I was assuming managerial duties. I actually was responsible for someone in the position.
Colleen?
I can't hear you.
Colleen, we can't hear you well at all.
Oh.
How close to the mic are you? Can you get a little closer to the mic?
Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Yes, yes, we can.
Okay. Well, okay. Start cool. While I have had many challenges in complex situations, but when I had first started as an activities director, I had never been before. I had always been in administrative work with customer service and helping people, but this was the first time I attended an department and had a direct report. I had taken on responsibilities that may be managerial, but they weren't actually my responsibility, so it was always more of an assistant. And also the position which I accepted, no one had been in that position for over a year. So the documentation that would need to be presented to the state, none of that had been.
Colleen?
Yeah.
Colleen, so what device are you using I'm
using a tablet. I need to get
earbuds. Earbuds microphone. I don't want you. I know Jeff can't hear you, so we do this to practice. We do these things to practice, and so you should. So Colleen, I strongly encourage you to try a set of earbuds as a microphone and see if that works better. Because we want you not only to be able to answer these questions in a believe in yourself kind of a way, a confident way, but we also want you to experience the technology side. And so, look at yourself with the camera, see how you look, and then, practice the audio. And you look fine, Colleen, way better than Michael Joyce does. But,
I heard that, Teddy.
Facts is facts.
But it's not working. So I really encourage you to, get a pair of cheap earbuds at the very least. Michael's got headphones. They work great for him.
Yeah, I will get that. I just got internet at home. I had never really needed it. I went to the doctor. So next week I'll have them. I'll use them.
Yeah. In this COVID environment, you're more likely to be screened by video than by phone, probably.
Yeah.
And so you got to work on that.
And I'm looking at
Okay, I'm going to.
So I know my technology is pretty far behind. Okay, then I had a good answer.
I gave you a 10, Colleen.
Okay, I'm going to go with, I'm going to pick my own number on this one. I'm going to
All
go
right.
after Jeff Duno.
Jeff, are you there? Unmute, show your face.
Yes, I am here.
All
Very
right.
good, sir.
I like your first name.
Yeah. You too, sir.
Welcome. Welcome.
I'm hired, right?
You're close. I need a number. I need a letter first. A, B, C, or D.
Let's go with D. 6.
D, and give me a number 1 to 10.
6.
6, please.
Describe the types of teams you've been involved with, and what were your roles?
Okay. Well, throughout my career, I have actually been very lucky and have only really been part of two different teams, and actually was just two separate jobs. So I'll focus on my most recent one, where I was in a pretty structured team, and there weren't a lot of changes, luckily. So I was actually hired on to help build that team with my last company, and started when the team was still being built for a new program that we were rolling out with the company, and I was a big piece of looking for talent, hiring and evaluating talent to take the program to the next level. So we were a mixture of contractors and full-time employees, all different ages, and so it was a very good mix of folks with different ideas and different work philosophies. I was the supervisor of part of the team, and then became the manager of the whole team through a structure where we combined the team together. And throughout my career, the team was a very highly sought after team, through project management, through technical support, customer service, and get a lot of great feedback throughout the years from our clients. So I feel I feel with the job that's in front of me with Sealy, I would be a very good asset to the team, managing employees, as well as building a team if the team needed to increase and get larger to scale to the efforts of the program.
Okay, I appreciate your response. We're going to go to Teddy, who's the hiring manager.
So, Jeff, you had the opportunity to hear me pick on others so that you thought through the way you responded. So you did a good job. I'm going to put you in the 7, 8 range.
Okay.
One of the things that you talked about how you were early part of it. I think you could have collapsed that answer in a much more succinct way.
Okay.
And spoke about, the different roles I've had have been, and very succinctly said, I was a part of a brand new team. I got to be a part of hiring and developing and growing the team. I was very fortunate that we were able to build a very diverse team across all kinds of cultures and ideas that really helped the organization achieve /A/B/C.
Okay.
And then spin it into, when I joined this pillow company, that I really I know I will be able to bring my experiences in picking the right people, developing the right people, and leading a team. Now, listen, you said who were highly sought after by others. I wouldn't have said that. I would have said, and leading a team of people who are highly successful at achieving the business goals.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Period.
Thanks, Teddy.
Good. Okay, appreciate it, Teddy. Thanks. Okay, I'm going to pick on Betsy Lerner.
She had to leave, Jeff.
But
She's
Jessica
going to.
Mitchell's eagerly awaiting a conversation with you, buddy.
By the way, she looks like a
We're
lawyer
going-
with all them books in the back.
We're going to Jessica Mitchell. Are you there, Jessica?
Might help if you could.
Yep,
get
there you go.
Yes.
That did help.
That helped immensely.
Okay, Jessica, I need you to take a number or a letter, A, B, C, or D.
I'm going to go with D, and the number
You
is
guys are after.
D as in David and 7.
Okay. Appreciate you coming in and talking with us today about the mattress company where Sealy's concerned. But I want you to tell me about a time in which you had to deal with an upset customer.
Well, that's a fairly easy question for me to answer because my position with Duke Energy, the last position that I had there, my job was the event manager of to resolve major incidents, which meant that there was a significant impact to a hardware or software component of Duke Energy's business that was unavailable. So I hardly ever in that role dealt with someone that was not an upset customer. So I found that the most important thing was to maintain a open communication, to give them very specific information on where we were in identifying what the issue was. Once we found the issue, how long we thought it would take to restore the situation back to where they were able to get back to their day-to-day work again. And also, I found that it was very important for me to give them talking points that they could give to respond to their managers who were probably breathing down their neck, wanting to know where things stood. So it was important to give them something that they could use to alleviate some of the pressure they were under. So I would think that going forward, those experiences and the lessons that I learned about how important open communication is would serve me well in this position that we're talking about at Sealy. I think that there is never a time that it's not important to let people know where things stand, where they stand in the situation, and where we plan to go forward.
Good. Okay, I'm going to ask Steve, the hiring manager, to give you his summary of your response.
Okay. Jessica, I liked your response. I like the bit about that you put in about communicating with the customer. Having been in situations myself where I'm frequently dealing with somewhat upset, irate customers, the more information you give them, the better off the situation becomes. And I thought that was a positive. Providing them with a time frame, I thought that was good. I particularly liked your comment about providing talking points for them to be able to communicate with their superiors as to what was going on. Because the more pressure that's put on that helps take some pressure off of them. The more pressure that's put on them, the more pressure that's going to be on you.
Absolutely.
So you circled back to communication at the end. I thought overall you did a pretty good job. I'll give you a 7.
Thank you. I wouldn't have tried to spin so hard if I knew you were the hiring manager. I thought maybe I was going to have to spin for Teddy.
The intimidator.
He's the inspinator.
Spininator.
Yeah, inspinator.
All right. We're going to, thank you. we're going to move on, and I didn't want Suzanne to think we forgot about her. So I'm going to go to Suzanne at this point.
Suzanne, can you unmute?
There you go.
Can you show your face? All right.
There you go. Good morning.
All right, Suzanne.
Privileged to see you.
Yeah. Okay, Suzanne, we need you to pick a letter, A, B, C, or D.
A.
She's going to go with A. Now a number 1 to 10.
2.
Okay, Suzanne, I'd like to know what past manager or leader do you most admire and why?
I'm sorry, did you ask the question, what type of leader I most admire?
No, the question was what past manager or leader do you most admire and why?
What past manager I most admire and why? Past manager that I most admire was a manager that I had just a few years ago. And the reason I most admire that person was because they were open. They were the type of person that you could go to if you had an issue that needed to be resolved. And they also were the type of person that they were pretty much hands off. They would let you, as a project manager, I was leading a team, so they would let me manage my issues that I had with my team. They let me take the team through the work process, and pretty much hands off unless I made a request that I needed some assistance. They also were very much open to making sure that I, included with all the team, were open to new possibilities, to new opportunities, and to make sure that everyone on the team had all the training they needed for the work that was to be done.
Okay, I appreciate that, Suzanne. I'm going to turn to Teddy, the hiring manager.
She knows what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm going to give you a 4 or 5, Suzanne, but you didn't spin it. You didn't talk about, so a couple things that really came to mind, Suzanne. Well, first of all is, you got a great definition. By the way, did you say who that person was, or even in any context? I missed that.
I don't think so.
I said it was my manager. I didn't.
Yeah, previous manager. But that's okay. At least you got some context into that. He was my manager. You didn't have to say the first name or anything like that. You answered the question from a perspective of why very well. Open. I wrote down. You said these words: open, approachable for challenges, hands off, supportive, offered relevant opportunities, and provided training to make sure the organization and you grew and solved. But what you didn't do is 2 things. One is, by the way, and this is pure satire, this lead into the same response, is that all the people at this pillow company are not that. They're not. And I'm doing that, saying that to say to you, you don't know the people of this organization fulfill these criteria of your most admired manager. So what you have to do is to say, however, I have had lots of managers that I was able to work for and be successful, even if they did not compare to this person that was my most admired manager. You have to throw that in there, because I'm telling you, there's lots of organizations you ain't going to run into this guy. Okay, so you've got to be able to speak to you're able to be successful even with managers who are not comparable to your most admired manager. Then you have to say something in the context of, you know, bring it back to this job, bring it back to this interviewer and have a conversation with them. Maybe, you know, maybe the way to go about it, and this is only an idea that I'm open to Jeff and Mark and Steve, et cetera, to throw their ideas at. Maybe it would be to throw a question. Could you give me a little bit of insight on the manager I'm going to work with?
Oh, okay.
So I would be able to understand how to best work with him to be successful in this role, period.
That's good.
That's a good comment.
Mm-hmm.
No, good comment, Teddy. And you could turn that back to a question to the individual, but if you did that with me, you wouldn't get an answer. Okay, because I want to know, what is the manager or leader you most admire, and why? And I think Teddy's point was a good one. I would cover a number of different managers, because you don't know exactly. When I ask that question, I know the manager you're going to work for.
Right.
And so then I'm trying to make a match. Is this going to work or not? So again, I think that's a good thought, Teddy, and I think that's something to think about. But I appreciate that, Suzanne. Okay, I've got one more I'm going to go for, and that's because I don't want him to think I forgot about him. But that's Hughes.
Hughes knows you never forget about him.
Yeah, I just don't want him to think I forgot about him.
Jeff, we're down to 10:25, by the way, so FYI.
Yeah, I'll go quick.
All right, Hughes.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
A, B, C, or D, Hughes?
About B.
D as in dog?
Yes, no, B as in boy. Boy 4.
B as in boy. Okay, and the number you want is what?
4.
4. Describe a time when you did not perform well versus your peers. And what did you do about it?
Well, I had a project once that there was a lot of expectation on this project. The stakeholder was very impatient, in the sense that you could say. And the project was moving well. It got to a point where materials were supposed to be delivered, and due to some weather, bad weather, unforeseen bad weather, the material did not get delivered on time, and which dragged a portion of the schedule and kind of delayed the project. And of course, the stakeholder was not happy, and the stakeholder actually reported or made a call to my manager, and was shared with me. And so what I learned from that, in a sense, is not only trying to stay on top of things as far as what can happen and unforeseen event, but the good thing about it, I was able to communicate with the stakeholder when I found out that the material would be delayed, and even though he was not pleased with it, but the part of it, I think I came out of it in a good way, is the fact that I had to communicate. I did communicate the delay with him prior to it happening, and so he knew about it before actually it happened. So that, in a sense, made it turn well. I do understand, these unforeseen events happen in different projects, and with this position that I'm going to be working with Silly, and I do understand you guys do have projects that are expected on schedule and on budget. And I expect to keep that line of communication with whoever I'm dealing with, I'm going to be working with. And hopefully I would not have to bring these kind of bad news to a stakeholder I'm going to be supporting. But you can bet that I'm going to be on top of projects and making sure that I can try to prevent these things from happening. And that's my goal.
Okay. Steve's the hiring manager. What do you have to say, Steve?
Okay. If I boil it down, the project was delayed because of an unforeseen weather issue that prevented parts from being completed on time. And what I heard was that you worked through this by your good communication with the stakeholders in the project and kept them apprised of what was happening and when they could expect things to be back on schedule. And all that was good. What I didn't really get was what you took away from that so that you didn't get in that situation again. You made a comment toward the end that you were going to stay on top of projects. Well, that's a statement that says I wasn't on top of the other one. So I don't think I would have worded it quite that way. I'm going to give you a 5. I thought you brought it around to Celie at the end, but the weakest part of the answer was really what you learned from it and how you were going to prevent that from happening in the future.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm going to turn it back to you, John.
Okay. What I neglected to ask, and I'll ask this real quick. Generally, when we start off our session, we do like to introduce our new folks, which we did do, but I didn't ask the returning folks if they had any good news. So is there any good news out there from anybody that they'd like to share? So if you do, let us know.
Got some good news just as we were.
Bring your down again. There you go.
Well, I'm going to have to remember to do that because
Yeah.
I just got some good news. I was a former teammate of mine at the center where I just left. Reached out to me and had seen an opportunity that was available at the center, and I expressed an interest in it, and I just got a request for an interview. So I'll be setting up an interview this week. Hopefully it'll go better than the interview that I told you last week I was going to have, that they eventually decided they were going in a different direction and they didn't need to talk to me. So I love that phrase.
Yeah, you've developed all these skills now, so apply them effectively, please.
Yes, and the first thing I need to do is make sure that I have my mic down where I can be heard.
That's fine. Okay, anybody else have anything they'd like to share?
Jimmy Barnhart left because he has a call with a potential employer. Betsy Lerner is getting ready for a screening interview today. Those 2 chats came in while we were talking.
Okay,
so.
good. Okay, folks, thank you everybody for coming. We'll do this again next week. Welcome to Natalie and Robbie. Hope you'll be able to join us again. And